If you've ever used Microsoft Whiteboard with a personal Microsoft account, for brainstorming, sketching out a plan, teaching a class, or just doodling with family over a video call, you have exactly 2 weeks left before it stops working, and less than a month before everything you saved on it is gone for good. Here's the exact timeline, and here's why it's happening. Starting August 22, 2026, personal Microsoft accounts lose the ability to create new whiteboards or edit existing ones. Microsoft will keep your saved boards viewable in read-only mode for a short window after that. Then, on September 5, 2026, anything tied to a personal account gets permanently deleted. That's a 2-week gap between losing editing access and losing the content entirely. This is white heavy checkmark confirmed directly from Microsoft's own in-app notice, and it's been independently reported and corroborated by Windows Central, Windows Report, and NeoWin, all pulling from the same Microsoft source and confirming the dates match. Why is this happening? Microsoft is consolidating its whiteboarding product around OneDrive for Business and Microsoft 365 accounts. In plain terms, Whiteboard isn't shutting down as a product, it's shutting down for you specifically if you're using it with a free, personal, non-work account. If your Whiteboard is tied to a work or school Microsoft 365 account, this doesn't affect you at all. This is purely about consumer accounts getting cut loose. So who actually gets hit by this? Teachers who use personal accounts to sketch out lesson plans. Small business owners without a Microsoft 365 subscription who used Whiteboard for quick brainstorms with clients. Families who used it during video calls to plan trips or explain something visually to kids. Freelancers and students who never needed a full business subscription just to use a Whiteboard app. None of these people did anything wrong. They just used a free product the way Microsoft offered it to them, and now Microsoft is taking it back with about a month of total notice. Here's the part that matters most. If this is you, you have until September 5th to get your content out. Microsoft's stated advice is to export anything you want to keep before that date, as an image or a file, because after read-only access ends, there's no recovery path mentioned anywhere in their notice. No trial extension, no contact support to restore it. Once it's gone on September 5th, it's gone. Now, the honest counter case, because this isn't some uniquely villainous move, it's a pattern. Free consumer tools that live inside a company's ecosystem get retired or restricted all the time once the company decides they don't drive enough revenue or fit the roadmap. Microsoft isn't charging you retroactively or holding your data hostage for money. They're not asking for a subscription to keep the content, they're just ending the free tier and giving you a deadline to leave with your stuff. Compare that to services that quietly delete your data with zero warning, and this is, relatively, one of the more transparent ways a company can wind down a product. That doesn't make it painless, but it's not the worst version of this story either. If you're affected, the practical move is simple. Between now and September 5th, open Whiteboard, go through every board you care about, and export it, as an image, a PDF, whatever format the app offers. Don't wait until the last week. And if you relied on Whiteboard specifically because it was free and simple, it's worth looking at alternatives now rather than after the deadline. Tools like Miro, Figma's free tier, or even Excalidraw cover similar ground without tying you to a Microsoft 365 subscription you don't otherwise need. And here's the detail that makes this genuinely worth talking about instead of just another app shutdown: most affected users don't know yet. The notice is sitting inside the app itself, as a banner most people open Whiteboard rarely enough to never actually see before the deadline hits. There was no mass email campaign, no push notification most people got, no headline on a homepage. Unless you follow tech news closely, or you happen to open the app in exactly the right window, this is the kind of thing that ambushes you the week after your content is already gone. Think about the actual use cases getting quietly erased here. A teacher who built a semester's worth of lesson diagrams inside Whiteboard because it was the free, simple option her school district didn't pay extra for. A small consulting shop that used shared whiteboards during client calls to sketch strategy in real time, never once considering they needed a business tier Microsoft account just to keep using a free tool. None of them will get an email that says, "Act now or lose your work," in a way most people would actually notice. That's the quiet part of this story. It's not a dramatic hack or a data breach, it's just erosion by default setting. It's worth asking why now. Microsoft has spent 2026 pushing hard to consolidate its productivity ecosystem around paid Microsoft 365 subscriptions and OneDrive for business storage, partly to simplify its own backend, and partly because free consumer tools that don't convert users into subscribers cost the company money to maintain without a clear return. Whiteboard for personal accounts apparently didn't clear that bar. That's a business decision, not a technical failure. The product works fine, it's just being pointed exclusively at paying accounts going forward. And to be clear about scope, since this matters for who should actually act, this only affects Whiteboard usage under a personal, free Microsoft account, the kind tied to an Outlook.com or Hotmail address rather than a work or school login. If your Whiteboard access comes through your employer's Microsoft 365 subscription, none of this applies to you, and you can keep using it exactly as before. The line that matters is which account you're logged in with, not which device or app version you're running. There's a broader lesson buried in this, and it's not really about Whiteboard specifically. Any free tool you use that's tied to a big company's ecosystem, rather than something you fully own or export regularly, carries this exact risk by default. The company can redraw the line between free and paid at any time, with as little notice as an in-app banner requires legally, and nothing more. It happened to Google's free tools before. It's happened to various free tiers across cloud storage providers. Whiteboard is just the current example, not the first and almost certainly not the last. So here's the 2-week window in one place. Right now through August 22nd, Whiteboard still works normally for personal accounts, full editing included. August 22nd through September 5th, read-only, no new edits, export access still available. After September 5th, gone, with no stated recovery option. If you've got even one board worth keeping, that's the calendar you're working against, not a vague, sometime this fall, warning. The bigger pattern worth watching here, as Microsoft keeps pushing more of its free consumer tools toward paid Microsoft 365 tiers, this is very likely not the last app to get this treatment. If you're someone who's built a habit around a free Microsoft tool without a work or school subscription behind it, this is a good moment to check what else in your daily routine might quietly disappear the same way, with a 2-week notice buried in an in-app banner most people will never see until it's too late.